Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you making it through the whole day to the best committee of them all, Public Works and Infrastructure, where we dig into it. If I could ask my colleague, has she had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, I have, sir. I move to approve item 2025-1177.
All right, I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, that was unanimous approval, by the way. We are going to wait for Commissioner Terry to come back to the dais, and then we're going to get into 2024-0525. With that said, we're going to go on over to the next page. We have agenda item 2025-1019. This is for all commission districts. Emergency snap finger vault and trunk sewer assessment and cleaning for use by the Department of Watershed Management. This temporary contract consists of the assessment and cleaning of known sites experiencing sanitary sewer overflows during rain events. Use of this total integrated sonar and closed-circuit Tisket inspection technique will allow the contractor the ability to view and clean away the debris leading to current reductions in sewer capacity. This request seeks to ratify the emergency purchase of large diameter trunk sewer assessment and cleaning services awarded to Compliance Enviro Systems LLC, amount not to exceed $5,096,263.15. And I believe this was approved by Mr. Lavoie Campbell out of Audit. And Director Wells, good to see you. Can you give us some more details beyond what we already know?
Yes, sir. So this item is specific to cleaning the trunk sewer leading into our wastewater treatment plant, Snap Finger. It's an area that is susceptible to a lot of I&I due to the creek rising during wet weather, which ultimately inundates the system with silt. So we want to do an inspection to actually determine the amount of silt that needs to be removed. We actually have a commitment to the regulators that will do that assessment by this December, and then ultimately have whatever debris discovered removed by following June. So it is very much so timely, hence the emergency. And other than that, it did pass audit, was supported, and I asked for you guys' approval, pending your questions.
A quick question for myself. So you said it sounds like it takes about 6 months to identify and then clean out whatever is there. Is that just the difficulty of getting into an active sewer line and cleaning stuff out of it, or?
Correct. Depending upon what we find, then ultimately you devise the approach to actually remove it, and depending upon how impacted the trunk is. It's a pretty large line conversion into some vaults going into the headworks of the plant. So it's some undertaking.
Gotcha. Okay. Commissioner Johnson, any questions or comments?
I don't think so. So just to note that we're looking at, it says 42-inch, 36-inch, and 60-inch trunk sewer. So large, but not large enough to really put a person in. So we would be jetting it or something to that effect.
Correct. So the first inspection Tisket will be on a skid, literally something that can float on top of the sewer to sewer. In dry weather flows what we call that capacity right at roughly 80%, in certain areas even greater. So it floats literally on top of the sewage and scan down to get a profile of the debris. And then from there, we, I say we, but the contractor ultimately use a whole host of different mechanisms to deploy means to remove. It can be large nozzles that have a tremendous amount of weight and a great deal of flow that can scour. There's some older methods where you literally use a device called a bucket, but it's not necessarily a plastic bucket. It's a metal scraping mechanism to depend upon what ultimately is found. It needs to be removed, because it could also be not just silt or dirt. It could be bricks, I mean, a whole host of things
Okay.
we find sometimes. So the type of debris dictate the type of method utilized to ultimately remove it.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm good.
Commissioner Terry, any questions, comments? No? Okay. At this time, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I move to approve item 2025-1019.
I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're going to hop back to the first page now that Commissioner Terry's here. And this is agenda item 2024-0525. This is for all commission districts. Resolution to establish environmental justice and sustainability resident advisory group. Commissioner Terry?
Thank you. And Mr. Manson's passing out the redlined version that was amended from the last committee discussion. And so if it's okay, Mr. Chair, I'd like to just go through those changes and take any additional feedback, make sure we're on the right track. I'll just go through, I'll just jump right in, if that's okay. So we did update the first whereases. As you can see, former President Joe Biden. Might just delete that altogether, actually. We don't want to come across any Control F searches, for the buzzwords. So I'll just put that as a note for central staff. No offense to the previous president. We deleted, under purpose, we deleted "and to disseminate initiatives to DeKalb County residents and allied organizations." I think the response we got from the committee members is we don't necessarily want this board to do the work for us. I think we disseminate information via our departments, county commissioner offices, etc. So I think that was a comment we got. Another cleanup on number 4. It says the advisory group shall hold organizational meetings which can be viewed or attended by the public, prepare model legislation as it deems appropriate for consideration by the Board of Commissioners, monitor the progress, and make recommendations towards DeKalb County's current environmental efforts, including but not limited to the county's 100% clean energy. And then we just put transportation because it's a clean transportation and clean energy plan, but we didn't want to duplicate clean there. Added transition because this is a transition plan. On the second page, we have updated the dates just to align with a more reasonable time frame. Since we passed March, we have it as September 30th of this year for I'm sorry, 2026. Thank you. So basically the idea is that an annual report would be completed by the board in partnership with the various departments that might be relevant, and then the first report would be due September 30th of 2026. So assuming we approve this at some point this year, they sort of have most of next year to work on that, and certainly have meetings. I think the big comments came for the membership, and so we clarified that members must be residents of DeKalb County, because obviously some folks might live in districts 1 through 5, and they might live in a city. Doesn't mean they can't be part of this proposal, because a commissioner ultimately would appoint them, and so that's really up to the commissioner of jurisdiction. And then I think we do say that we want them to reside in the appointing commissioner's district. We make it a 9 voting member, and so we include it can be expanded to any city located in DeKalb County, which shall be entitled to 1 member if that city passes a resolution expressing commitment to environmental justice and appointing a voting member. So in other words, a city can join the board simply by passing a similar resolution. And certainly I think we would welcome that, because I think to a certain extent some of these decisions are impactful of all county residents. And then we also added that, so just in the appointment section, so again, chief executive officer shall have 3 appointees, each commissioner shall have 1 appointee, and the Senate delegation shall appoint 2 voting members, the school board have 1, DeKalb Municipal have 1, Soil Water Conservation 1, Decide DeKalb 1, and then we add in again the city. Any city which meets the requirements to add a voting member shall appoint 1 member. Okay, last page. We add in there existing and potential policy and legislation concerning environmental justice, and then we add in or clean technology, while also representing a broad variety of county interests. And so we just added clean technology because that's obviously an important thing to consider as technology increases. Again, we updated the term, so we just sort of we'll continue probably to update that as it makes sense. So we have it in September for now. And then I think this is more Robert's Rules of Order. We just, the organizational meeting has to elect one of its members to serve as chair and then another as co-chair. And then they can serve a maximum of 2 terms, of 1 year being a term. Okay, and I'll pause for any questions, comments, feedback on those red line changes.
A comment, if I can. So you didn't expressly say this when you were going over the who can make an appointment, but I did want to point out that the DeKalb County House delegation has 2 and the Senate delegation has 2. So we don't get into those situations where we've had confusion in the past. So I do appreciate the distinction.
Oh, yes. That is, yes. Great point.
Yes. And
Very
then,
clear.
yeah, and then with the first meeting, anticipating them having the meeting by September 30th, that still seems very soon considering we need to pass this resolution and make appointments. So is that realistic?
Yes, and I think I think we should definitely be in a posture to update that if we get to the point of we feel the rest of the resolution is sound and everything is in order. And I think our posture today is if the committee is good with sort of where we're at, we would want to defer it and ask the administration to do their review and provide feedback before additional consideration.
So I think that would be my only point is I don't think currently September 30th is realistic.
No.
But other than that, that's my only concern right now. Thank you.
Yep. I guess the only concern I would say is the chairperson and co-chairperson may serve a maximum of 2 terms. If you have someone that's very effective in that role, I'd hate to term limit them. And if there's a way to keep someone who is capable in that role. So that would be my suggestion. I don't want to rain on your ordinance or your recommendation, but that would be the concern I would raise.
Yeah, I don't know if Attorney Phillips, did you work on this? I can't remember if we discussed if that was like a standard kind of Robert's Rules thing or if it's just if we were borrowing from another, because some of this language, Commissioner, we borrowed from other boards that are established. Are you aware of like a term limit for chair in other committees?
We did not include a term limit. Initially, when we discussed this, our focus was to make sure that you were comfortable with the appointment process and then the roles that they would play. But the term limit, we did not focus on.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that you did mention, Commissioner, just to remind you, was that you wanted a broad scope of participation. And because of that, you wanted some rotation.
Yeah, that's true.
That was something that you pointed out to us when you were working directly with the lawyers in drafting. So I thought I'd remind you of that because they may drive how you see a term limit with your chair.
Yeah, so I think, all right, that's a great point for reminding me because I think that the goal would be that the individuals that hopefully we would appoint would be like subject matter experts. They certainly could just be sort of neighborhood folks who are interested, but hopefully there would be enough of a bench of scientists, engineers, sustainability folks. I think we've got a lot in DeKalb to choose from, so it's probably more just to kind of keep the leadership fresh. But again, like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Honestly, it's so open to tweaking that and not being so rigid. Maybe there could be something as simple as if the body decides, oh, actually, we really love this chairperson, they're awesome. Well, we could do a 3rd term and maybe just give them a little bit of agency to kind of figure that out.
Well, to your point, then what about just say no more than 3 years.
Okay.
Because a lot can
I'll
happen
accept
in
that.
people's lives over 3 years where they at one point had extra time to commit to the community, something happens, someone's born, change in life. So,
Okay.
all right, if that works.
Yeah, we can make that, just make it 3-year maximum term on number 8.
Okay, unless there's anything else to add, open the floor for a motion.
Was that for 30 days?
30-day, and then request the administration come back with their feedback.
Yes, for, excuse me, item 2024-0525, I move to defer for 30 days and request the administration have an opportunity to weigh in on the item and provide feedback.
I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving back over to page 2 of our agenda, we're going to go to agenda, this is under sanitation, agenda item 2025-1065. This is for all commission districts. Change order number 2 to contract number 1342309, compressed natural gas and tax services, sole source for use by Public Works Sanitation. This contract consists of purchasing compressed natural gas fuel for the county's CNG vehicles and monthly tax services. This request seeks to increase the contract funds and term through February 28, 2026, awarded to American Fueling Systems, LLC, amount not to exceed $700,000. And it looks like we got a substitute item handled here. And the new, it looks like everything else is the same with the exception of the total, $1,870,080. And
Just kind of talk through what we're looking to do here.
All right. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hey,
I'm Eric Holston with Sanitation. So the AFS, American Fueling Systems CNG station, it supports our North Residential, North Commercial, and our North Transfer Station. All of our fleet that relies on it for CNG fueling. So that's why we're seeking approval. Any questions?
absolutely. Good to see you, Erica.
Good to see you.
Commissioner Johnson, any questions? No. Commissioner Terry, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Zach, have there been any discussions about, I guess, in essence, taking over this operation? Because I know in essence, we're sort of renting, the services, but is there any efficacy in us actually owning this type of operation for the long term?
Yes, so to answer your questions, to the first question, yes, there have been conversations. We've been talking really back and forth with them for a good part of almost a year, maybe, give or take. And I'm not sure is the answer to your second question. So we've not come to a point where we're prepared to bring anything forward, but we have had conversation. We recognize there is value in this, but as with any discussions, there are certain complications that have not got us to the point where we're ready to bring anything forward.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if the contract does get extended for another year and a half, would y'all still be pursuing those conversations?
We will still be in conversation, and if we can get to the point where we feel there's something that we should bring forward, meaning a deal that makes sense to the county long term, then we'll be bringing that forward.
Okay. And then just related to, so this is for our, I think mostly for our trash trucks.
Yes.
But I guess maybe a few other
The
vehicles.
overwhelming majority is for the trash.
Yeah, and so I know we have that other contract about getting the methane capture
The
system.
renewable facilities
Yeah.
is something separate.
So if that gets up and running finally, is the intention to sort of plug in the pipeline so that our trash trucks are being fueled through the landfill capture system?
Yeah, I
Or
don't know
will
that
we
it
always-
works directly like that, but it would be us putting our gas into the system, to the gas line, if you will, and us taking out the same amount, more or less. So
Okay.
The intent is kind of a renewable facility, right?
Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't remember if that was the intent years ago, was to, is it just, I know we're trying to sell them to the market.
Right.
Yeah, like it goes into the pipeline,
Right.
and then I presumably American
And there's
Fueling
certain RINs
Systems
and things
is-
where there may
is
be
in the
discounts.
pipeline. So yeah, what do you call it, the RINs, the
Yeah.
renewable energy, it's like a tax
Credits of some
Okay.
sort.
Okay. How's that going, by the way, the renewable energy?
It's moving. So the last update I had was that it is moving according to plan.
Okay.
And I think there were certain milestones, but then I've seen an email within the last week that has caused me to question, so
Okay, but they have till the end of the year, right? Is that
I
what you're
believe so.
saying?
I believe so.
Okay, all right. I don't know. No
Well, yeah,
exceptions.
it's time to, exactly. It's time to fish or cut bait. Gotcha.
All right, there you go. Thank you.
All right, unless there's any other questions, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Yes, sir. I move to approve item 2025-1065.
And that's the substitute?
The substitute, thank you.
All right, I'll go ahead and second that with the substitute. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on, we're going to go to agenda item 2025-1123. This is for all commission districts.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Did we do 1163?
We did not, and I'm glad you pointed that out. It is in audit, or going to audit, since
Okay.
it's over that $3 million. Since you've mentioned it, agenda item 2025-1163. This is Commission Districts 5 and 7. Agreement for the construction and financing of sewer upgrades with a company with an estimated contribution of $3,674,036.63. We talked about that this
Yeah.
morning. This is a contribution to the county's funds, and so there's not a
Correct.
need to do the audit because this is them giving money to us to perform the work.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Commissioner, thank you, and I'll open the floor for a motion unless there's a conversation.
No, I can make a motion for item 2025-1163. Move to approve.
All right, I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
This is the biggest one we've done.
Did you have?
I was going to know that I think this is the largest one I've seen.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
It's supposed to be a major project.
Correct. It's for over 1,000 housing units, actually 330 housing units. It's requiring some rehab work, as well as over 1,500 linear feet of upsizing 10-inch to 16-inch pipe.
Wow.
Which is why it's involved a little more than.
Okay. So the amount is not necessarily related to the size of the development, it's more just the infrastructure in the area or on that line?
A little bit of both, because size dictate the amount of capacity you'll need to serve the development, hence the amount of rehab or infrastructure work required to facilitate. Yeah, it's kind of correlation.
You know, that sounds large enough, Reggie, where that's a field trip for PWI. If we could do that, that would be nice to just check it out, see the
Okay.
progress. Something to brag about. That is a very large project. I mean, $3.6 million is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. If you'll talk to Mr. John Manson, and as we get closer to it, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Okay.
Fair
Commissioner
enough.
Johnson, thank you for pointing that one out. Continuing on, agenda item 2025-1123. This is for all commission districts. Change order number 1 to contract number 2000240, roll-off and compactor service and repair for use by the Department of Public Works Sanitation. This contract consists of providing repair and maintenance services to roll-off containers and self-contained trash compactors throughout the county on an as-needed basis. This request seeks to increase the contract funds and term through April 30, 2027, awarded to Carr Industries of Georgia, 11, or is that 2? LLC, doing business as Container Repair Services, amount not to exceed $150,000. Eric, good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
What can you tell us about this?
So this provides essential services needed to repair and maintain self-contained compactors and roll-offs, which is essential for our commercial division. And we've seen an increase in the need for these, especially within our school systems, DeKalb school systems.
Okay, perfect.
Seeking approval for it.
Commissioner Johnson, any questions, any comments? No. Commissioner Terry, anything?
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on something that you had brought up several years ago about the whole like
AI in the garbage
AI
cans?
video monitoring of dumpsters being overflowing and then like having alert systems. Do we ever test that out?
So I know that sanitation put cameras on the trucks, but I don't think they got to the point of looking into the AI with the camera with the dumpsters. And sort of the motivation for that conversation was someone that actually is using a private hauler for an apartment complex. So I'm not sure that the code enforcement through the courts were equipped to make that happen, but perhaps that's worth a standalone conversation going forward.
I think it's important because there's two things I'll just note in that situation. From a code compliance perspective, when our crews are emptying the commercial dumpsters, they'll be able to identify real quickly, one, if they're actually enclosed, because I think that's part of the code that I think we're maybe enforcing irregularly. Maybe someone complains there's a bunch of dumping outside the dumpster. Well, if they had it enclosed, that would make it harder for someone to put stuff outside the dumpster.
Yes.
Sort of illegally, right? And then I believe that Zach confirmed this, and I think the law department was researching it, but I was under the impression that because of our solid waste permit, that all commercial dumpster operations had to go through DeKalb County, even in cities. So, and that just seemed to me to be like, if that's the law and that's on our books, we should be enforcing that, because that would mean there would be greater regulation countywide of
and I think
dumpsters.
the attorneys are looking into that, because that would be cities that have their individual franchise for sanitation services would be a great conflict point all of a sudden. So we'd want to legal that out first before we roll forward with that conversation, if that's all right. Zach?
Right, so, and I was going to confer with the law department. My understanding was those were signatures on the solid waste management plan. So you have some like Chambly and Decatur, who provide their own service, Avondale Estates, who may not be, but I mean, we'll get you the answers, because that is certainly something, if this is enforceable, or wherever it is enforceable, even in the unincorporated area, where you have vendors providing the service, where these businesses certainly should be on utilizing our commercial operation. That's just more economy of scale for what we're trying to accomplish. So. And so that's some of the stuff that we're looking at as part of our cost containment efforts too.
Okay. Eric, thank you very much. Commissioners, unless there's anything else, we'll open up the floor for a motion.
Yes, sir. I move to approve item 2025-1123.
I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Commissioners, I think we went through our agenda in 30 minutes, including a discussion.
I think that's a record.
On a new board. Yeah, that's a record. We still have a good 50 minutes to talk about important things, though.
I mean,
And
you want me to
don't
nerd out on something? No, I'm not going to nerd out.
But being serious, unless there's anything else to add to the conversation,
I
I'll
move
open the
we
floor for a
adjourn.
motion. I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you to the residents for hanging out with us, and staff as well. We appreciate y'all. Bye.